Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back to Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit to do and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, May 29th. Your Tennessee Volunteers are the SEC regular season champions and the SEC tournament champions today in Hoover for the first time in Hoover.
Crown us.
Tony Vitello gets it done. Yes, the Daddy Cap special. Get out the crowns. Dude, it honestly feels, we were texting that group message and I was like, I mean, we're kings before the game was over. And I know you had maybe a little bit of battered Vol syndrome. You said, hey, let's pump the brakes a bit. I legitimately, even Kentucky got down to 2, Tennessee never trailed, but got down to 2-2 and things maybe started hurting a little bit. And you're like, oh crap. I just never wavered with this team. They've battled, they're battle tested, man. That's the best part is this team is incredibly talented. This team is incredibly good, but they have not just cruised to every victory. You have a series loss at Kentucky. You start off Friday against Alabama with a loss. You have a loss on Saturday against Auburn. Like this team has had their fair share of challenges. They go to Houston and drop a game to Texas on Friday night, a late game. They go late on Thursday and Friday night this week. In the words of Tony Vitello, a Visa Club Hours, which is a phenomenal pull by him, by the way. This team is they're the real deal. You can't deny it. They're the real deal.
And I shouldn't have been like that with this team. It wasn't doubt. It was more, like you said, just battered Vol syndrome. But I feel like with battered Vol syndrome comes like when we've had a lead, we haven't been head and shoulders better than that team. This team, every single game, we're head and shoulders better of whoever we're playing.
Well, and I'll spot you this one too. When you talk about, sports, you get the like common theme of, focus on this opponent, focus on this one. I'm a fan. I don't have to focus on this opponent. I'm looking ahead at the region. I know this game's win. This game's a win. I'm looking ahead at regionals. We get that benefit of the doubt. Landon's a much more disciplined guy than me. He's a dialed in much more than me. So he's in that team mindset of focus on Florida. We're only 5 innings in at this point. Focus on them. And so, no, I don't blame you for it at all. I don't. I'm just a cocky mother effer.
That's fine. Hey, you got to, like, every team has them, right? Exactly. Look at Drew Gilbert today.
Drew Gilbert's a stud, dude. And, people are calling his thing a slump. I think a slump, I don't know if is the right word because he's the best hitter in the SEC, one of the best hitters in the country. He's dominated. He has a few at-bats. I'm sorry, I'm going to eat some celebratory pizza because I'm starving. I'll mute myself when I do it so it's not disgusting. But, no, he had a couple bad at-bats. What a thing from Florida to have one at-bat in this game at that point. One at-bat where it's not ideal. It's not like, listen, if he watches a ball go by, I might feel differently. He was not watching anything. He was swinging. What a bold move. He's a stud. Why give him the chance to be the hero? He wants to be the hero.
Yeah, especially with bases loaded. Like if it was maybe second and third, but when you have that extra person on first base, no, I'm not putting him in that situation. You look at that regional from last year. You look at, he had a grand slam this past season against Georgia Southern, I'm pretty sure. Why would you even put it in his hands? No matter what I don't care. If he was in a slump, if he was 0 for 16, I'm not letting that one be the one.
No, definitely Definitely not. And I think it's just first off, it's just a bad idea to walk anybody on this Tennessee roster because there's dudes up and down the lineup.
Oh yeah,
It's not a good idea anywhere. So to be fair to Sullivan, like it's not ideal. But I don't, and I think this is probably because Tennessee has a bunch of dudes on the mound as well. I don't like it taking the game out of their hands. Let them do what they've worked. Like they did all that work this week to get to that point, and you essentially take the ball out of his hands. You say we're going to put the guy on and give the next batter a chance. You took the ball out of his hands. You took a chance to strike Jordan Beck out or, fly him, whatever it may be, whatever the outcome could have been. You load the bases for a verified dude. And I don't know. I texted you last night. I think Kentucky they coached themselves out of that game. Just they went through that. I don't remember what inning it's in now off the top of my head. I'll have to pull it up, look at the stats. But they run a freaking just bringing dudes out of the bullpen when the guy that was in at the moment wasn't doing bad. Did he have some ideal at bats? No. Or it wasn't perfect. But they were also, Kentucky was in that game. Florida was in that game until that moment. And I know you have a Seth Stevenson. Seth Stevenson, I don't know why I know he can hit at times, but he is fast. He can get on base. There's not going to be a lot of sacrifice squeeze on in those scenarios. He can get on base. He's one of the fastest guys in the SEC.
Here's my thing with that. He needs to do that more.
That's what I'm saying.
He has the pop-ups.
He needs to be doing that more.
Yeah, Florida did with 2 outs. They bunted for a hit, and we're looking at that and like, oh, that's stupid. But a guy like Seth Stevenson, absolutely you do that because you have a chance to get in scoring position on the next pitch with his speed. So I would love for him to do more of that kind of stuff. I think that bunny laid down today was incredible.
Phenomenal.
He's so much more dangerous. Like him rolling over is way better. He has way better chance of getting on base than trying to lift the ball up in the air.
Yeah, and too, that's the biggest thing is you have him as a leadoff hitter to get on first base. And if he can get on first laying down bunts, that's what we need to do to get him on first base. It was a phenomenal play. An absolute phenomenal play to bring a run in, even if I think it was the pitcher that grabbed it, right? Even if he doesn't try to make the tag there, he's not in a position to throw you out at first.
No, he's not throwing him out. No.
So we don't know what. And Tony's even talked about he can hit when he shortens up. And so I know there's a little bit of belief there beyond just, but if he can get on doing that and he's 0 for 2, 0 for 1, let him try to get on base and get things going. Especially if, no matter who it is, whether it's Luke or Jarrell behind you, both those guys can hit and move you too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree.
Phenomenal week from the Vols. And hats off.
I'm so sorry, dude.
Are we bringing brooms out for sweeping in Hoover? Are we doing it?
For sure. For sure. You got to.
I wasn't sure. I just wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned it. Hoover sweeps in Hoover. Sweeps in Hoover, baby.
God, that dirty place of Alabama.
Double elimination, single elimination. It doesn't matter.
It was a little wet, but we still got to sweeping. It was fun.
Yeah, you got to bring the squeegees too. Squeegees and brooms. Hey, hats off to Kentucky and Florida, two of the teams you faced. They had big weekends and they needed big weekends. I think Kentucky probably gets left out, not beating Tennessee on Saturday night, excuse me. But big hats off to them. They did everything they absolutely could to get into the NCAA tournament. If they do, good for them. It doesn't look like they're going to.
Yeah. Man, it's insane because like when you think of like who he played in Hoover, teams you probably don't want to, like your first game, if it's Vanderbilt, you're like, man, that's a tough draw to have that your first game. And then you get LSU next, and that's a team that's super hot, and you took care of business there. A Kentucky team that beat you, and then a Florida team that I think is really picking up. Their starting pitching isn't phenomenal, but their lineup is one of the best in the country up there with Tennessee and LSU. So I mean, what a job from our pitching staff to just go through some lineups. Like, I mean, Kentucky has a really good lineup. You heard Tony Vitello kind of rave about them, that they could absolutely win a regional with that lineup. And they do have some starters that are pretty good, but they just don't have the depth that other teams in the SEC have. But yeah, man, you went through a gauntlet this week, and it didn't seem to phase you. I mean, you talked about the scheduling and how everything kind of played out. It was tough, but you kept winning to making it easier on yourself. LSU, them having to play that next day, pretty early after going into early morning with that late Tennessee game, and then if they would have won, they'd have to turn around and play again. So,
Right.
Just a difficult situation and Tennessee kind of took themselves out. And I was surprised of how they did the pitching. But Dolander is your Friday night guy, so you want to stick with him on Friday. You went Blade. I thought he was phenomenal. I mean, Dolander, good God. I mean, if that
he proved why he's the SEC Player of the Year this week.
100%.
SEC Pitcher of the Year, sorry.
Yeah, and he very well could have been Player of the Year too.
Fair play. If he hadn't had those 2 weeks out, he's your player.
Right. Yeah. If Alabama doesn't hit you in the forearm because they're
scumbags, they did it on purpose.
Pitches. Yeah, for sure. But I thought the whole staff was fun. I thought Drew Beam pitched well. He had 6 strikeouts and a short amount of innings, and walked a few, got away from him, but put you in a position to win. And then Burns just mowed down Kentucky.
Right. The only thing that I thought Beam struggled with was finding the strike zone early, and then you get just a wild strike zone the rest of the game, and that doesn't help you. So obviously he didn't put himself in a great situation, but he didn't get help from anything outside either. And so that's the things you got to battle with. You mentioned 6 strikeouts. I thought he played well enough for you to win. He gets the win, actually. So literally plays well enough for you to win. And then you get that just shows, though, credit to him for not trying to do too much, because you just got to get to this point, and I don't know if he expected Burns to come in. I don't know if that was the plan, but you at least have a bullpen to come in and help you take you the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought Camden Sewell pitched well today. I was surprised of how they did that. I thought you would see Beam and then Burns. Burns to pitch the finale there in that championship game. But you went with a guy who's pitched in this tournament before. And did a great job for you last year against, was it Mississippi State or Alabama? I forget which one he pitched against, but yeah, he did a phenomenal job last year in this tournament.
Who was the semifinal? Was that Alabama? I believe he pitched in the semifinal.
I think so. I think it was Alabama.
I think
you had to play them twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he was phenomenal, and then you get a Seacrest sighting there as well. You obviously have Will the Thrill that's able to come in and help you too. I think that's the theme of this week too. You get Kentucky, you get Florida, semifinal and final. Both teams, that their bullpen is just wasted at this point. They've had to battle to get to where they're at. They started the week on Tuesday. You were able, you were better than them at the plate as well, but you were also, better than them at the mound and in the bullpen, and that's just what carried you, and that's what's going to carry you through postseason too. This isn't going to be the first game you win because you have the freshest arms.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's insane because we were talking with Cody about 8 runs and how you kind of feel comfortable with 8 runs. I was looking at it, and how many teams do you think have scored 8 runs on Tennessee this year?
I was actually looking at the losses today, so I'm trying to think, just looking back. I'm going to go 2, but I don't think it's that many. I think it's 0.
It's 4.
It's 4? Okay. All right.
And some of those have scored right at 8.
All in wins, right?
James Madison was a win, and it went to extra innings, so that's kind of that was one of them. I want to say Auburn was one.
Auburn in their win beat us 8-6. Okay. So I missed that one in the loss. Alabama didn't score 8 in their win against us, though.
No.
They scored 6. Missouri, we scored 8 on Missouri. Whew.
It's either 3 or 4.
So I just had Auburn there. Let me get back farther here. Yeah, James Madison had 8 in 10 innings. Texas just had 7 in that loss. So you said 4 did it to us?
Maybe it was
I'm
3.
Let me get back up here. 9, 2, 15, 4, 3, 8, 2. So Auburn had it in their win against us. Georgia had it in their win against us.
Okay.
And
yeah.
James Madison, I think it's just 3. And 2 of those were teams that beat us.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, so it was just 3. Which is
That's
insane.
2 of them are SEC teams.
And I think 1 scored 7. So, I mean, you're talking like if you score 7 runs, or we'll just say 8 runs, I mean, that's chalked up as a win. That's automatic.
That's got to make your pitching staff feel phenomenal. When you're able to start, you get ahead early, you get 6 runs in the 5th. Oh, I think we're up 4 in the 5th, right? Also, shout out to this shirt. Put it on right before it tonight. Before we, the inning we took the lead was 4th or the 5th.
Was that back the last time Tennessee won the title back in '99?
This one, maybe. It's possible. This is a solid Goodwill fond. So
okay,
happy for that. Yeah, no, I switched it up today. I was feeling superstitious, so I had to make sure we pulled through. I guess I was expecting this, so it's not even, doesn't even seem, it's fun. That's it. I never felt bad about today's game. That play you have, that pop out by Jarrell where Trey makes a bonehead play. It's just, hey guys, you just got to bounce back. Like, this team's going to bounce back from that. I had no doubt in my mind. No doubt. That I knew that wasn't going to cost us a game.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to. You didn't have really anything going, and your 9-hole hitter hits a triple to open up the 3rd, and you can't get him in. I mean, that's super frustrating. But here's why Florida's a really good baseball team. O'Sullivan knew exactly what he was doing with going with that kid. He knew he could slow it down. He was going to throw junk, and it was going to throw – because if you're going to throw in there and throw, 95 at Tennessee, they're going to run into some barrels because they can flat out hit fastballs.
And that's what sucks about both these Kentucky and Florida games. Tennessee hit some balls really, really hard, both games. They just weren't in gaps. They weren't long enough for the yard, whatever it may be. And that's what stinks. They hit balls plenty hard the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you're filling up the zone against Tennessee, I mean, they're going to make you pay for it. But when you have a guy that's throwing balls in the dirt and off the plate, and then you have the umpire, calling balls in the opposite strike zone, strike 3 on Luke. I mean, it's just people are gonna get antsy. They're gonna chase some pitches, and Tennessee did that today. But eventually, they were able to settle down against Florida in that 5th inning, and really get on a run and kind of put the game out of reach.
Can I give you a wild stat that I haven't seen read off? And I'm trying to just double check and triple check as much as I can, but this is off the cuff. So if it's wrong, please forgive me. This is Tennessee baseball's first outright SEC championship. When they won in 93, 94, 95, they played Eastern and Western Division championships.
Oh, so it was.
This is the first outright tournament championship in Tennessee baseball history.
Interesting.
Tony Vitello has done and is continuing to do something special.
So why didn't they play each other? Was that in there?
So I read a little bit about this morning when I did the research to find out that Tennessee was also the first school in SEC history to win the basketball and baseball tournament in the same academic year.
Right.
From what I've read, they just decided those 3 years, literally just those 3 years. I believe that's all they did. They decided to do an Eastern Division championship and a Western Division championship, and the 2 winners were crowned SEC champions. but there were technically 2 of them because they didn't play each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah, it's also fun fact. Todd Helton got the win in all of those games.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then before, so 77, yes, was the first year they had a tournament. I believe before that they just played, I guess, East and West Division winners played each other in a series, I believe. And Tennessee did not win a single time when that was current. So this is their first outright championship, postseason SEC championship.
That's insane.
Yeah. Absolutely insane.
And I think it's the third time in a row that the number 1 seed has won it.
Third time in a row, yeah. Arkansas won it last year. Vanderbilt should have been it in 19, so Ole Miss in 18. Okay, and this is the first.
No,
time
this was the third year.
Oh, so Vanderbilt,
Tennessee,
okay,
Arkansas,
so Vanderbilt in 19. Okay,
yeah.
And then first time since 2010 that a team has led the entire tournament. Tennessee never trailed; they were tied up for Kentucky there for a short time on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Dude, I love those. Like, I know people are just hating on those games. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed sitting down at 10:30 to watch. Like, I don't know, something about it. It made it more fun somehow. I don't want it every week, but it was fun.
Yeah, so that was on Friday.
Saturday.
Night. Saturday.
Kentucky was Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
/ Sunday morning.
Okay, but it wasn't as late as the LSU game.
It was not as late as the LSU game, which I went. So we went to a, I don't know, like a outdoor thing in downtown Johnson City, and then we went over to Wild Wings. I was like, I'll watch a little bit of the game at Wild Wings. Sat down at 9 o'clock, and that game was in the 6th inning. I was like, yeah, I'm going home. I'm not waiting around.
Yeah, it was insane. It'd say they started like 11:10, I think, Eastern time.
Was it that late? I thought it was like 10:30, 10:45. It was 11:10. I didn't even know.
I didn't get in the bed until like 2 a.m.
Oh, it probably was later than that. Last night, Emily asked me what time I went to bed.
It's probably 2:30.
I said I was probably in bed by 2. I looked at I was like, well, the last tweet I sent was at 2:36, so at least after that.
Yeah. It's yeah, I could do without that.
Does it not make it a little bit more fun? Just a little bit?
It does, and I was super lucky. I worked a golf tournament, drank a little bit, came home, and like took a nap, and so I was good.
You were perfect
up until 2. So it worked out perfectly. But like if I would have stayed up and not been tired when I got home, that'd have been a struggle fest. When it was 2-2. Now the 8th and 9th inning, I would have woke up a little bit, but yeah.
I don't know if Richard commented. I don't know if he looked it up. We're gonna give him the credit. Say he didn't. He got it right off the cuff. Trivia question, I guess, of the day. He called it JMU, Georgia, and Auburn. 3 teams to score 8 runs. Yep. I don't know if you looked it up or not, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah, pretty impressive that Tennessee's able to keep. I mean, it just goes to show that pitching staff is phenomenal.
The pitching staff's incredible. You've seen the defense. Not that they were bad at the start of the year. No, by no means do I mean that. But the defense pick it up throughout the year. This was probably their best. Do we call it a series showing? You had some errors. You even had some errors behind the plate and caused by pitching. But all in all, just a solid week, solid couple games from the defense. And Trey Lipscomb today, and especially against, that play against LSU, I just felt like he was laughing. Like, yeah, I should be SEC Player of the Year. That barehanded got,
100%
loaded, or just 2 runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I think it was just 2 runners on.
Just prove like he's not, and that was my favorite part is people talked about, well, how good is he defensively? He's just as good as Dylan Cruz and Sonny D.
Sonny D plays first base, and he's not a great first baseman at that. And then Dylan Cruz, I think, used to play in the infield, and now he's the center fielder for LSU. Right. So, I mean, if you'd rather, like me, if you're playing, what would you rather play, center field or the hot corner at third base in the SEC?
What would I'm
going out to center field.
Okay,
yeah. I'm going to center field.
What do I want for my SEC Player of the Year? I want him playing third base.
100%. 100%.
Not where I'm seeing,
not where I want to
exit velo. coming right at me.
No, thank you.
It was dude, just phenomenal weekend from the defense as a whole though. And again, there were definitely some mistakes, but I feel like they really shored up. I thought they supported the pitching staff phenomenally and made a lot of great plays. And I also think the mistakes that happened were forced trying to make a play. They weren't Kentucky's Drew Gilbert's pop out to left that, God, I don't know what they were doing. Just no communication, I guess. But they weren't that bad. They were always someone trying to make a play, is what it was.
Yeah, the two against LSU, the Seth Stevenson just kind of boots one a little bit, just trying to get in a hurry.
Right.
And it lets the runner go to second. And then Cortland Lawson boots one, and he tries to get up real fast and get the guy out, but he probably didn't have a shot at that point, and then it gets past Luke. So yeah, just two kids. It's not like it rolled through their legs or anything. They're two pretty hard hit balls that just kind of get booted, and it happens.
Another one that pops in my head is friend of the pod. Jarrell tries to make that play that gets over the infield, and he snags it and tries to turn to Luke Lipsius and make a play at first, and that's one you just eat. You just hold it there, and he tries to make a play at first, and it's like I said though, they're trying to make plays. But I think too, after seeing those guys realize, hey, I don't have to make that play. I've got whoever on the mound, doesn't matter in this roster. I've got Cortland Lawson at short to make plays. I've got Trey Lipscomb at third. He's going to make the next play, or I'm going to make the next play. So just about being smart and getting to those next plays. Seth Stevenson, you want to hold that guy at first. He made a good play. You just don't want to let that compound and let him get to second. And so I think you watch those. You were trying to make a play. You made a mistake. You watch those and you go, hey, we're just going to get the next one next time. We're not going to let those compound. So, yeah, it's not a huge deal. It is what it is. You still get the sweep in Hoover. It's a phenomenal weekend. You have the 2022 SEC champions, regular season and tournament. The number one overall seed. You probably had that locked up after probably a win over Vanderbilt. What did Oregon State struggled this week, but they played Stanford for a Pac-12 title today.
I don't think you had to win a single game in Hoover to lock that up.
I don't entirely disagree, but I'm also not.
It definitely doesn't look good.
I'm not on the committee, so I don't know. I don't know what they view. Well, that's the thing too. Is I don't know if they view it as meaningless or not, and that's my favorite part. I tweeted it today. Like you said, they have a great shot at being the number one overall seed if they don't win. I'll trust you and say they're the number one overall seed going into this week, and then they just went out and kicked everybody's ass anyways.
Yeah, the fact that Oregon State gave up 25 runs to UCLA in a game.
That's true. Great point.
Yeah.
What about UCLA's meltdown? I'll get into that in my fail. Meltdown. No, it's golly, I enjoy it so much. Hey, we're going to Omaha. I can't go during the week, but if we make it to the final, you're getting in my car and we're going to Omaha.
All right, let's do it.
Like there's no doubt about it. It's happening.
I'm there. You let me know, and we'll go.
I'm letting you know right now. If it happens, it happens. We're there.
All right, let's do it.
Cool. Oh my gosh, it's just. I love this team.
Yeah, and you got Jared Dickey back the other day to
bat flip.
Oh, a lot of bat flips. Blake Bird.
Yeah. Well, and a bat
Drew
flip
Gilbert.
on Walkland, and that was pretty sick too.
Oh, for sure.
How stupid do you? I get it's like kind of with the Sonny D thing I was talking about. I get trying to get your team fired up in a moment, but be conscious of the moment as well, because you don't want to give the guys across from you bulletin board material either.
Yeah, the Sonny thing, I feel like it's a little because it did tie the game.
It tied the game, but it just tied the game in an elimination game.
That's right. That is true.
I'm okay with the bat,
but it's a little better than being down 21 runs like Mississippi State was and doing a bat flip. And
I'm talking bat. Yeah, those are two totally different things. I'm talking about the bat flip for the walk tie ball game.
Yeah.
And Sonny D's bat flip is not the problem I have. It's the pound in your chest as you run across first.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's take a step back, bat flip it, try to get your team fired up. But you still have a lot of game left to play. All it did was tie up the ball game.
Yeah, I saw that in the SEC like kind of highlights before the game today, him doing that, and I was like, they lost that game.
No, yeah, bat flip all you want, but be careful about. Again, I get trying to pump your team up, but know the moment.
Yeah,
You need to know the moment.
I mean, Drew Gilbert was phenomenal this weekend.
Drew Gilbert was.
He had 9 RBIs, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's slumping." He's chasing. I think he was trying a little bit too hard.
Yeah,
There, those last couple ones, maybe chasing some things out of the zone. That's just not who this team is throughout this year. So, I'm sure he adjusted. So it doesn't matter.
And let's step back and not act like these other teams aren't scouting. They know he likes balls high in the zone, so they gave him stuff to chase. He wasn't being uncharacteristic in his approach. They were giving him tough balls high in the zone that he thought he liked before they got to the plate. They challenged him, we can't pretend these teams don't see the same thing me and you see. As much as terrible as Kentucky is, and we whooped them, their coach knows a heck of a lot more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're going to take similar. They challenged him, and Florida challenged him today. Obviously, he rose to the occasion, and that's who Drew Gilbert. He's the dude. He's the dude abides.
Yeah, that double, that base clearing double that he hit. He had 2 strikes. I mean, it was just that kind of that same approach where if he's chasing something, it's 0-2. He's not really chasing anything, but he's in that protect mode. So he can get a little chasey, and that's everybody, with 0-2. That's why they call it a pitcher's count, because you can pretty much do whatever you want when you have them down 0-2. And he just waited on that 69-mile-an-hour pitch that kid was throwing, and then just sent it over Wyatt Langford. Yeah,
also
Florida's best player.
Do you think Langford gave Cortland Lawson a kiss after today? Because if Lawson doesn't catch that ball, he eats Evan Russell's hose down. I mean, that was in the helmet.
What about Evan Russell? How much better is he getting at catching?
I've been saying it all year. I don't think Evan Russell's arm is the problem. I don't think he gets helped out by delivery times.
Oh no, he definitely doesn't. He is a little bit wild at times, and I think that just comes like he's just never. Somebody said he caught 5 innings in high school, so he didn't even really catch in high school.
Why are we calling him a high school catcher? I know that's been thrown out there. If it's 5 innings, that's not a high school catcher.
Right. Yeah. I think his sister or somebody tweeted that out pretty recently. So yeah, there was no real evidence of him ever being a catcher. So
he's I mean, you've seen the growth, first week to second week, 5th week to SEC play, and like you said, it's just gotten a lot better. Kentucky, who stole 10 bases in a series against Tennessee, they got some of theirs, but Evan Russell made him pay sometimes too.
Yeah. I thought he threw 3 guys out in Hoover.
I think so. Yeah.
2 the last 2 games. I thought he had 1 against Vandy.
I thought he had 2 against Kentucky.
Okay, maybe that's it.
See if I can pull that up. But yeah, no, he's been. I think that's the biggest question this team has, right? How are you going to manage base runners?
Mm-hmm.
So if Evan Russell is doing that in postseason, that's the only question that this team has. And this team didn't trail at all this week too, but they had their fair share of battles that they had to work through. So this team can play from behind, maybe a stretch, but they're not afraid of the moment.
Well, and you don't really have to worry about playing from behind when you're outscoring people in the first 2 innings, 130 to 20 something.
True. They don't give themselves a lot of room to work.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. What about Tennessee scoring on wild pitches this week? What is that all about?
What about Jordan Beck starting off 2 games in a row with a triple and scoring on a wild pitch?
He's so good. He is so good. And
that play that he made on
against LSU.
Oh yeah, that's big leaguer.
he's just a stud, and that's why I think a lot of people see that walk him, them intentionally walking him, and they go, "Oh, that's a good move." But you have Drew Gilbert behind him. You have the best hitter in the SEC behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, not something that I would do. But again, there's not a great solution to that problem either.
There's not. I think that's what I love about this coaching staff, though, is they're going to look at that a lot of times, situations like that, and go, "We're putting the ball in your hands. You started this game for a reason, or we brought you into this game for a reason. Ball's in your hands. Go make a play." And that's why I like the way Tony Vitello has managed this team.
Well, and they don't. I don't think they're big on walking anybody unless it's Sonny DeShera.
Well, and you saw freaking Dolander when he comes out to pull the ball out of his hands. Apparently he told him he wants Cruz. He's like, "Don't you dare pull me right now."
Yeah,
that's not a battle you're gonna win in quote unquote meaningless games. But
right.
I love it. I love the approach.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how this team just is so fiery and just so competitive. Even like we mentioned it before the broad, like this tournament, yeah, it's great. Like you want to win it, but if you don't win it, at the end of the day, like you're here to win a national championship.
Well,
So that's why these number one seeds come in here. Like, yeah, they've won it the last 3 years, but they've also we only had to play 4 games. Florida had to play 6. So we didn't use up, we just didn't use up everybody in our rotation. We didn't have to overpitch people to try to get there. We just kind of took care of business, but we didn't have to overdo it to win this thing either.
That's what's nice about this. It was almost like a normal weekend series for Tennessee. You get to prep for postseason. If you're overthrowing guys to win games, you might go, "Oh, this isn't ideal." Like you said, you want to win it. You do. It's this team's mentality. They want to win everything they freaking can. Mm-hmm. They want to put it on Iona at the beginning of the year in crappy weather, and they want to try and run rule Kentucky, which they would have if it happened an inning earlier. And it's just in their DNA, and you obviously don't want to stretch arms, which Tennessee thankfully didn't have to. They took care of business. But it's also nice to make this tournament meaningless. What you have to do is do what Tennessee teams like Tennessee and in the top part of the conference like A&M did during the year. Because if you're in a situation where you're Kentucky or Florida or Auburn who's trying to host, this tournament does mean a lot. It's more wins. It's bumps you up in the RPI. So this tournament can be meaningless, but it isn't necessarily meaningless to everyone. And maybe the committee does feel it's meaningless, like they did about the SEC basketball tournament, which is just absurd. You're playing games. They should mean something all the time.
Right, and that's why I kind of wish the NCAA tournament would be a little bit like college baseball in that the regular season, like what you do in the regular season, benefits you in the postseason. So like Tennessee gets to play at home in a regional. Yeah, that regional stuff. So like I would kind of like to see them do it with basketball where they play you kind of break it up like that, right? But you're playing those games at Tennessee. Like you give some sort of advantage. We're like, yeah, you get an advantage. 1 seed and a 16 seed. I mean, you 99 times out of 100, that 1 seed's going to win. But that next game is anybody can win it. Yeah. So like, I would like to see some sort of, I don't know, benefit to the regular season. Other than
the seeds matter.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy about this week too is Tennessee is away the last 2 games, which how important is it in baseball to be the home team? What would you say when you go into a tournament?
Like a neutral side game, so it's not an actual home game.
You're batting in the bottom half of the inning, home team.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a close game, you definitely want to be batting last, 100%. Other than that, I don't think it's that big of a difference.
But you would say it's an advantage. Like you would prefer to be that team.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So I don't care how many times you've been the away team. If you're the top seed, you've earned that by playing in the regular season. You should be the home team. The top seed should be the home team. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, just like in football, and you want you want them to go first, and
Right.
you like in
If you win the coin toss,
college
you should have
overtime.
a choice. They
Yeah,
shouldn't go back to all the games and go, "Oh, you went defense first on the last overtime. This team didn't. They get defense first."
yeah, that doesn't make any like. Then we're going like, what do the seeds actually matter at that point?
100% past the first 8? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the higher seed should be the home team every single time. I don't.
That blows
That's
my mind.
the
Like, you
easiest
have
thing.
the simplest solution in front
Yeah,
of you. That's
yeah,
what blows. It's not like, oh, we got to do more math to figure this out. No,
right.
it's so easy.
Yeah, that was.
So easy.
I didn't understand that. Again, it didn't matter in the end, but yeah, you'd like to maybe not
It's
have
just
to pitch another inning
and it's just one of those dumb things that you're like, why is the SEC doing
or
this?
hit another inning. Yeah.
Right. Why is the SEC doing this? Whatever. It is what it is. Tennessee prevails.
Who won the damn thing?
2022 SEC champions, baby. Let's go. Let's go. It makes me warm and fuzzy.
So I saw yesterday where Alabama was going to be a number 64. Yeah, they're the first 4 in yesterday, and then they lost, and then they got first 4 out today. So,
Which kind of blows my mind. If you have them first 4 in after that game, I don't know what the first 4 out teams did. If you're the first 4 in and you're playing past your threshold, shouldn't you still be the first 4 in?
here's the thing: if you make it to Hoover, you should probably be in a regional in the SEC.
I would say that's true, but you do have Kentucky and Hoover.
I mean, they beat us.
They
made it to the semifinals.
They beat us, and they were still ranked like 57th or something like that in RPI.
Yeah, I mean I mean, they're not a great baseball team. I'm not, but I do think I would rather play.
Here you go again.
Yeah, here we go again. I mean, I'd rather play like whoever our 2 seed is, Duke last year or Wake Forest than probably Kentucky.
Oh, just because they've had our number, yeah. I don't know what makes Kentucky good against us, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean they got a good lineup. They can hit. They're good defensively. They're short. Ryan Ritter is he was first team All SEC. I don't. If you're that good, you're projected to be a first couple round draft pick. I'd rather not play school.
That's fair. I think I saw someone tweet it, and maybe this is the case. It seems that Kentucky's maybe played up and down to their competition. They haven't found their kind of, I guess, rhythm. They haven't found their identity. So they've just constantly been playing with teams all year. So maybe that's the case. I think I saw a Kentucky fan say that. So maybe that is the case.
That's fair. I mean, they got hyped for that Tennessee series. The weather was bad, and
they played a phenomenal 6 innings.
Yeah, perfect storm
last night. So
yeah.
No, I as much as I hate Kentucky, seriously, last night after that game, hats off. You had a great week. I don't know if it's enough to get you in. Doesn't look like it is. But you definitely made people think about it.
It was nice to kind of put it on them late after they beat us in Lexington. That was pretty refreshing to see, to say the least.
100%. You get some decent weather. I know maybe there was some dew on the field by the time we played, but
right,
better than Lexington for sure. For sure. What a weekend. We'll see our regional matchup. I don't know when those come out. And
I think it's
the SEC Network either, or ESPN2, I guess.
I want to say it's either late. It'll either be late tonight whenever the conference championships finish. I don't know when the last one is, or it'll be tomorrow.
Oh, do they not do them on Sunday? I thought they did.
I don't, because I know a bunch of stuff was pushed back, so I don't know if that has any.
Well, I think teams had to have them finished by Sunday. I don't know what time. Big 12 championships going on right now. Texas is down 7. Big 10's still going on. Michigan's actually up after that whole debacle with Spider Tack or whatever it is.
Good Lord.
And then Oh my gosh, the Pac-12 doesn't play till 10 p.m. What is this garbage?
Well, it's because they're scoring 25 runs a game. How does that even happen? Wasn't it like in the ninth? It was like 21-12 or 20-12 or something like that.
I think they were down 12 runs going into the ninth. UCLA was.
Okay. And they tied it, and they went to extras, and then UCLA hit a walk-off.
Yeah, at this rate, we're gonna be Pac-12 is gonna be playing into Tuesday.
Yeah. We'll never know.
Just a disaster. So yeah, we'll see where we are probably Monday now with the Pac-12. If you're playing a game that late, that game doesn't. You're it's kind of like the SEC arguing and saying the SEC basketball tournament doesn't matter. You're saying your tournament doesn't matter because I thought they were always released on Sunday. I guess not. So whatever. Maybe it does matter.
Tennessee is a host site. That's been confirmed.
Yeah, Tennessee's hosting a super regional.
Georgia Southern's also one.
Oh, nice. So they've released all the host sites?
Yeah, Florida also got one.
Good for them. I mean, I'm not an SEC homer. Like, I'd rather see SEC teams fail, but if they're going to be good for them.
Auburn got one.
Auburn did get one after losing. Wow.
Texas A&M got one. Florida got one. Tennessee. I guess that's all.
If you all are still in here, Tennessee baseball team is going to be there about 11:45 tonight. They're going to be back on campus.
Okay.
So get rowdy down at Lindsey Nelson.
So I want to say I might go down there.
You might. I thought about it, but a couple beers deep, can't drop 2 hours.
Yeah.
So can't do that.
Tennessee will probably play like a super. Granted, if the number one seed, like if another host site or to play Tennessee, it'd probably be East Carolina or Georgia Southern's going to be that 16. I'd have to guess.
Okay. Did you see? So I guess I'll just talk about some of my most important fails. Did you see how Hofstra punched their ticket to the tournament? Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
Northeastern walked I think did he hit the pitcher or hit the batter? He may have just walked him, bases loaded to end the game. Just that has to suck. That has to be the worst in the world.
Yikes!
Because that ends your season.
Yeah,
you're not getting in unless you win the
tournament.
They're in the CAA championship. I don't even know what the CAA is. Coastal Athletic Association? I don't know idea.
That was a good guess to me.
you ain't getting in unless you win that game.
Right.
Meltdown. And then did you see the Michigan pitcher mishap?
Yeah, I saw where he got ejected.
So I guess Iowa spotted him kind of being funky with his glove, maybe touching a little bit too much. And almost very close to being batter was in the box and the Iowa dugout yells. And home plate umpire comes out, gets the crew together, they check the glove and eject him. And then you see a video. He is reaching at that glove. I mean, he's being friendly to it. Oh no, there's no way. Hold on. Oh, I thought his name was Willie Nelson. It was loading. Willie Wise, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome if his name was Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. That foreign substance, Willie Nelson. Shocker.
Nice.
They should have checked him before the game.
Yeah, it was which I mean, it looks like Michigan's gonna go on to win it anyways, so not a big deal. But hey, craziness. Baseball never hurt anybody.
The D1 baseball, and I guess we need to get to something else because we're already 50 minutes into we're still on baseball.
Which is okay. I'm okay with pushing some things off for this episode.
Yeah, that's cool. But D1 baseball is Tennessee, the 1 seed in Knoxville, Wake Forest as a 2 seed, Kennesaw State as a 3, and Alabama State as the 4. I know Wake Forest is really good. They can hit a lot of bombs. I think they actually have some uniforms that say Rake Forest, which is
on their uniforms.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, I guess.
No, because it's gonna be real embarrassing when you don't rake.
Yeah, I mean, you
Kinda like
definitely
the
put that target
Hawks.
on your back. But if you're hitting bombs, you have rake forest, you hit that home plate. That's pretty sick, honestly.
You better hit bombs if you're
Yeah.
raking.
I don't know how much you're gonna do. Maybe you do it against Kennesaw State and Alabama State, but you ain't doing it against Tennessee.
No, I wouldn't wear them. I would not wear those against Tennessee. Not at all.
But how about us, dude? We don't care when we wear black jerseys. We're just slinging them things.
We gotta get Chad on here. We said we'd get him on for postseason. I need black jerseys, pinstripe pants.
Oh, I got 2 from Hoover.
You got him. I've got a prime suspect, Hoover Police Department. I texted Landon. I've got one prime suspect. I don't know if he's a high school football coach. I don't know if he's on that level yet, but I checked Tony Vitello's bag. He's a bulletin board guy, it seems. I would make sure he doesn't have them.
I think it was Billy Napier. He didn't Florida say we stole those helmets.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure they came out and said that Tennessee took them. And I'm like, no,
I didn't see that. That would be very dumb of our guys to post videos of them wearing them and take them. Do one or the other, not both.
Red-handed. We're not even trying to hide it. We're just stealing things.
I could see Billy Napier stealing them for one reason, to sell them so he could fund his NIL. Sounds like they don't have any NIL money.
Well, I definitely wouldn't sell those freaking ugly alligator uniforms that they had.
Those were also, they were in the same locker room Tennessee was in, but they were burned. Tennessee did Florida a favor. We're good neighbors.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you want to get to something else? Hey man, we're champs.
Hey,
it feels good.
Tony and the boys, just absolute hats off, tip the cap. I mean, what a phenomenal weekend. Postseason. I think a lot of people, the biggest takeaway for me right now is a lot of people said Tennessee will fold when it gets kind of crunch time, when you're talking about winning trophies and stuff like that. This team doesn't fold.
Yeah, and what props to the roster that kind of bought into the staff, and guys that weren't even recruited by Tony Vitello, like Evan Russell, Revnan Walsh, Luke Lipsius, guys like that. And then you also have Drew Gilbert and Jordan Beck that Tony kind of brought in, and Tennessee wasn't at that point where you could really sell. You just had to believe in that vision, and for them to already be winning championships and stuff like that, it's got to be huge ROI. Huge.
Yeah, and I love that picture of Redmond and Luke and Evan getting, holding the trophy. It was just the smiles on their face, man. Love to see it. And big weekend from pretty much all of them.
Tony got a little emotional in the.
Wasn't that shocking a little bit? He doesn't strike me as a reflector necessarily.
He had that soft side to him.
Yeah, and still has time for all-time sound bites. Amazing.
Yeah. Didn't he call Redmond Todd Helton Jr. or something?
I don't know. Is it not crazy that Todd Helton has the most career home runs and the most career saves? Is that not a weird combination of stats?
How dominant is that guy?
Well, and I was listening to I guess it's still voluntary action. I don't know. Did they have Twitter space called that? And I think Russell or Bear mentioned that he has a win and a save in his, because he came out off from pitching, then they brought him back onto the mound when okay. So
that's pretty cool.
I guess statistically, do you still get that win and save if that happens, or do you just get the win?
I don't know how that works, because I don't even know. Can you come back in?
Well, if you go to a different position, remember we talked about it with the Pigeon Forge.
Oh, that's right.
You go play first or outfield. I just don't know how the stats work. Do you still get the save?
I don't know. I do not know.
I don't understand a lot of baseball stats. I understand their purpose sometimes, but I don't entirely understand them.
Yeah, the save, it has to be, you have to pitch a certain amount, and it can only be a 3-run or less.
It's 3 runs, or guy in scoring position. So you could be up 4, but if the guy's in scoring position,
Yeah.
that counts. So that counts as a save, right?
Yeah, and then you got to pitch, I think, 3 full innings to get a win.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you just got the win if they took the lead when you were in. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So who gets the win?
Well, like a starter. I'm sorry, a starter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have to pitch 3 full innings to get a win.
Interesting. Didn't know that. Okay. See, like I said, just amazing, just weird stuff.
Yeah, insane. Let's get the recruiting a little. Valapalooza, baby.
Oh, yeah, okay, Valapalooza.
Or
Yeah.
Rocky
Topalooza.
Rocky Topalooza. Yeah. Valapalooza. That's a real thing. Valapalooza is a real thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Rocky Topalooza. Yeah, man. It was interesting to have all those guys on campus. You got Vic Burley was here for his official visit. Same with Bryson Sanders, and you had all those commits in here. I listened to an interview with Vic Burley and Austin Price, and he said that one of the recruits that really talked to him and his family a lot was Nico. He's like, not only did he get close with me, but he was talking my family up and all that stuff. So,
Love to see.
Yeah, doing a little politicking, I guess. Hey, man, that's what you need. You need guys like that in that class. I mean, Byron Moore. I mean, you remember how big he was on social media with that legacy class.
Yeah.
I mean, that was he. I mean, he was on campus already.
Yeah, but he was one of Tennessee's best recruiters that year.
Yeah, 100%. So you had him. You had Caleb Herring was back in town. Nathan Robinson. Jack Luttrell was here. You had some big. Tamarion Parker was here. I think he told somebody. It was somebody at VolQuest, I'm pretty sure, that Tennessee led at the end of it. He was like, yeah, Tennessee is a leader now. And then you got some crystal balls with Shadavian Bradley and John Slaughter. Shadavian Bradley's a 5-star edge rusher, and then John Slaughter's a 3-star safety prospect. So, yeah, Christian Conyers is back in town. I'm trying to think of some more guys that were here.
You're supposed to have a scroll for me where you.
Yeah, all these names. Jeremiah Thielander was back in town. I'm forgetting some, but there was a lot of people here this weekend. So, it seemed to go pretty well. Saw some recruits, out. I was downtown the other night and saw a bunch of them kind of hanging out. I think they're in Neyland hanging out. Some of them were. I saw some TikTok.
Up in the luxury box. I saw one of the sky boxes. I'm not sure which one, but they were just checking out the renovations.
Yeah,
seeing what the future held.
Yep, big stuff. I like it. Yeah, and a lot of those guys, it wasn't even their official visit. So your hope is to kind of get these guys, get in kind of deep with them, and then you get that official visit where you can get them back on campus. And usually, if you're able to get, guys back on campus, like Vic Burley's been here 4 or 5 times, you're able to keep that reoccurrence, get that, relationship really intact there. You kind of feel good about your chances. So.
Yeah, definitely, and it's big to get guys on campus bunch of times. It's big to get a bunch of guys on campus at the same time. You mentioned how my dog just tried to, you mother,
try to get that pizza.
Yes, like you said, the premier guy in your class being Nico and out there recruiting too. That's huge.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's huge. So to get those guys all on campus at the same time means a lot for Tennessee. Hey, it was cool to see a bunch of them check out Lindsey Nelson. It's you talk about how momentum of a football program or a basketball program can kind of steamroll other programs.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see it somewhat work in reverse, where you have baseball. You've seen a bunch of guys come to the baseball stadium. You had Chad on here talking about how it's the first time he's ever gotten a call about bringing football recruits to the baseball game. You have them checking out a stadium that's empty just because the guys are playing this week.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see the success of other programs rubbing off on those other programs.
Yeah, and you had that 5-star offensive tackle, Francis. It starts with M. His last name does, but he's at IMG. He was here with Nico. He was singing "Happy Birthday" in Cruise Farm. I saw a video of him doing that. He was singing "Happy Birthday" to somebody. So, but he was hanging out with Nico the entire time. Him and
Prepping
Madden.
some NIL stuff, you know.
Yeah, man. Hey, whatever you got to do. I don't know if I'd say he outsings Elijah Simmons, but
Nobody does though.
yeah,
What are we doing here?
yeah. I mean, you can come in and be second best, but you're definitely not going to be the first.
Great weekend. Love it. And good news is, I don't know if are you done with football? Can we flip?
Yeah.
Because there's
let's flip.
recruiting news,
Mhm.
not just for incoming classes, but it's a good problem to have. You're having to recruit guys on your roster to stay. As far as NBA goes, you get some good news on two fronts.
Yeah, so we'll start with high school first. You get a 4-star power forward, Cade Phillips, out of Jacksonville, Alabama. 6'9", 200 pounds. Well, what's really cool, he's at Alabama legacy. I don't know what the deal with Nate Oates and that program was with him, but it just seems like Tennessee was on him for a good long while and had that relationship before Alabama could really get deep in there. And
Nate Oates didn't get to drop that NIL bag after his friend Nick Saban.
Guess not.
Up on,
Yeah, maybe Nate Oates will in the next press conference say something about Tennessee dropping that bag, but
I'd love to see it.
but yeah, his whole family pretty much went to Tennessee. His mom played basketball. His dad, John, at Alabama. Sorry, his dad, John, played quarterback at Alabama. His uncle, Brody Croyle, was a quarterback at Alabama. I think his grandfather played under Bear Bryant. So full of Alabama players, and Tennessee was able to land Cade Phillips. So I think that's big for this class. That 2023, you already got 2 commits in it. Toby Iwaka is one, and then you land Cade Phillips. So gotta like what you have starting off with that 2023 class, and hopefully finishes at Justin Edwards is somebody you got to watch in that 2023 class. I think he's trending toward Tennessee. You had that I want Justin Edwards when he came in for his official visit this past year. So gotta love it. Tennessee can recruit some basketball players now.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool, I guess, for lack of a better word, to see. You had Kim English leave, who was probably the best recruiter you had seen on Barnes' staff since Barnes had been here. He leaves. You know some of that edge is leaving. And not to discredit what Schwartz has done and Lanier and a lot of guys have done on the staff, but Kim English has got your wealth of talent. And since he's left, Tennessee really hasn't missed much of a beat. Continue getting these guys on campus. So that's great to see.
Yeah. I mean, it was that Grant Admiral who really kind of started things, then it was Josiah, and, then you landed Keon and Jaden and, Kenny Chandler, and now you land Julian Phillips, and hopefully you're able to keep landing Justin Edwards, Cade Phillips. It's just going to keep rolling.
Yep, hope so.
Keep that thing rolling, baby.
That's
and then Vescovi announced he's coming back. Josiah announced last week, and then you got Vescovi coming back. I mean, I didn't think that they would stay like in the NBA or like go through that NBA, hire an agent or try to play overseas or whatever. I thought it was a no-brainer, especially with them able to make some NIL money. I just thought it was a no-brainer. I don't know how that works with Vescovi. Did they get that? I know he figured it out with Urosh, but I know it's different countries, so I don't know how that works.
I would assume it's the same for all internationals.
Okay.
I never saw anything initially said about Vescovi, so I don't even know if it was ever a problem. I don't know how all these types of visas, and I don't know if they're all the same. I don't know the issues around it. I to answer your question, I don't know with Vescovi because I never heard, and I don't recall seeing. Did he have a shirt with the Vol Shop? Because that would answer our question. I don't think he did. So that doesn't tell us no. It just says unanswered. No, but I agree. It's both of them could benefit from another year. Could they benefit from a year in the G League or a year overseas? Sure. But when you have NIL, when you have a coach and a staff and a team you trust, and a team that could be good again next year, I think it's big to come back, and I think it's big for Tennessee to get them back. So they definitely were there's no doubt in my mind Rick Barnes and his staff were doing their best to keep them on campus as well and helping to make the best decision. And I think this is the best decision for both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're going to be leaders on this team, and I think they are really good players in the SEC. I mean, Vescovi, they're kind of different, even though they both kind of play that wing a little bit. But I think they're huge for Tennessee to be successful next year.
Yeah,
losing Kennedy.
Not that there aren't still questions on this team that are on this coming into this year. I think there are, but I think those two coming back answered a lot of my questions I had.
So Vescovi did have a shirt. He had the
so
jersey.
That's NIL then.
Yeah, and he did have the. He has 2 shirts, so yeah, he's able to make NIL money. Cool.
There you go. Love to see it. Love to see it. Can't wait for this team to be. I wonder if the game is it. I would assume they sign a multi-year deal. So this team back in Tampa on Sunday. Would love to see it.
Wait, what'd you say?
I assume Tampa has the. I would assume it's a multi-year deal. They don't go to Tampa for the SEC tournament for 1 year.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Tampa on a Sunday in February would be nice again.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's do it.
Do we have any questions? I haven't seen many drop through here. Also haven't been paying much attention to Twitter. Sorry, guys.
I didn't see any on there either.
Also, I need to verify. I guess while we have some time, going to most important. I'll try to get a closer look to make sure Tennessee hadn't won an outright one before this. You have most important of the week?
Thought I did. Maybe I don't. I'm trying to think what all happened this week. I don't know. It's been a weird.
Tennessee won.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of all I did this week is watch baseball and kind of chill out.
I'll go first. I got a personal one here. Happy birthday to my brother Sam. He is 20. How old am I? He's 25 years old now. Happy birthday. So that's
happy birthday, Sammy.
Yeah.
Do y'all still call him Sammy anymore?
I call him Sammy all the time, but
do you?
I feel like I call him Sammy to him more than I call him. Like I'll call him Sam. If I'm talking to you about him,
call him
Sam.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But if I see him, probably Sammy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Great nickname. I've always been jealous of him and Jonathan. They get Y's at the end of their name. You can't do that with me.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit.
Always been jealous of that.
You could be like Kaylee.
Yeah, please call me that.
What about Khalib?
That's not got a Y, but yeah.
I mean, we could make it a Y instead of an E, maybe.
I'm good. You just want a Y in the name. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, that's fine.
We used to call you Khalib all the time.
You did.
That and Boom.
Old Boom.
Is he retired?
No. Boom was out in full effect during the Vanderbilt game, or after the Vanderbilt game, during and after the Vanderbilt game.
Okay.
Full effect. Yeah. It was flip night at Tennessee Hills. Shout out.
What's flip night?
I don't know, coin night, I think is what it's called. You go up to the bar and they flip a coin, heads or tails. If you win, you get a free beer.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
50-50, baby.
Every time you go up there?
If you're nice to the staff, I think. I've seen people not get that. I've also seen people. I will not say if I've ever seen people get it every time or not. I won't say that. I won't out anybody.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't want to end it, you know.
Yeah, gotcha.
I've got. Let's see, when did that happen? Sure, this week. I think I did. Okay, scratch that. I thought I had one more. I think they're all just kind of fails. Also, I'd like that one guy that was super negative on our tweets the other day. Drew Beam's Drew Beam. He's filthy. It doesn't matter if he walks guys or not. He's going to get the job done. He acted like one walk meant he wasn't filthy anymore. No, he's still plenty filthy. So that's my D. How do we feel? What are we going to fail of the week? Pitch count? Pigeon Forge lost because they had to sit a guy.
Oh my god!
Maybe
did
guys
they end up losing?
I think they lost the championship. Yeah,
I think Farragut won. I think Dylan's.
Farragut did win. He
They're
was the win. He got the win.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I can't remember his Jackson. I can't remember his last name. Yeah, he got the win. It's pretty insane. Pretty cool. Also, I would like to establish for everyone that says pitch count's stupid. Look at my dog just nesting behind me. She's getting comfy. For everyone that says the pitch count's dumb, I don't entirely disagree. But the reason it's in is because of what we saw this past week. Like, that's why it's in place.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you have coaches ruin it for everybody. It just, I don't know. It's just weird to me that like one throw over, and you have to sit another day. That's just like, it's just weird. But I get it. I get it's a rule, but it just yeah. I guess it just sucks.
No, I don't disagree entirely with that. I don't know how you would define a cutoff though, and you get coaches like this.
Yeah.
So it's the weird area you get into. Like, wouldn't it suck if an 8-pitch at bat took you over the limit? You pitch 106 instead of or 105 instead of 104.
Oh, 100%.
You had an 8-pitch at bat in your last batter faced. Like, that would be terrible. But
here's the thing. Yeah, that, but also if Tennessee ran into the good thing yesterday where they were going to pitch Rebman Walsh at the end, but they're up by so much they didn't have to. They went with Wyatt Evans. He pitched great. I'm not taking anything away from him. But if your offense produces, you don't put yourself in that bind.
Well, and two, is it not kind of insulting to the rest of your team to go, he's got to throw 8 more pitches for us to win this?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you're telling all your pitchers, hey, guys, you can't get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was kind of explaining to you. It's like, I feel that same way when, like you give it to your all-state running back 800,000 times. It's just like you're like, what are you trying to do? Like, you're not, you might win more games, but you're not helping anybody else. You're not building your program up by doing that.
And isn't it a lot different if you win a state championship versus not? That your opinion changes drastically about that.
Yeah.
If he gets the ball 800 times, you win a state championship.
Not a lot said.
Anybody, no one's going to complain. But if you do that and lose by an extra point, you're an idiot. Like that's just the bottom line. Everyone's going to say it, whether it's right or not. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's and I feel like too. We talked about with that Pigeon Forge guy because they did try to keep him away from the pitch count, put him at first base, whatever position he played in the field, took him off the mound, and then they said, "Oh, we've got to win this game to see tomorrow." Kind of like what Tony said, we got to win this game first, and they brought him in and said, "All right, well, we're going to go, balls out here and see what happens tomorrow." Also, all-time on from Tony when they asked him about kind of preparing for tomorrow and seeing Chase Burns tonight. He's like, "There's no tomorrow right now."
Yeah, agreed.
Love it. But I think that's another thing too. So Chase Burns comes in, you win the game, whether you win tomorrow or win today or not, you're going, well, you still had to win that game. But you're mad because it doesn't look like a genius move. Because you won today and it helps that Tennessee has the arms, you think it's a genius move. But I think everyone in Vol Nation would agree. I would rather have, if you're telling me just no other context, all you say is starter, Chase Burns or Camden Sewell, who do you pick? No other context.
I mean, probably Chase Burns. He's done all year.
Exactly. But again, you had to win that game first. Yep. So without any other, it changes. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's. Then I'm gonna end it right there before I just lose my mind on the high school. Again, just for.
I mean,
you're
we counted it out that there's a kid that pitched like 600 pitches in 18 days. I mean, that's insane.
that's why you have the pitch count.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, even look at Dave Van Horn. Got so much crap for throwing cops so much last year, where they don't have a pitch count, and they don't win.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
My fail is Oregon State being up in the bottom of the ninth, 21-12, and ended up losing in the 10th, 22-25.
Can I piggyback your fail real quick?
Yeah.
UCLA dropping a pop out the second to lose the game, pretty much. Effectively lose it. Did you see the play that cost
UCLA won.
They lost the second game. The
second game. Yeah, that's right.
Second game, it was 6-6, I think, with a runner on second, 2 outs. Pop out bottom of the ninth, dropped it, or maybe the top of the ninth inning, and got the runner scored because I don't know what they were doing. I think the shortstop actually called him off of it and just fell right between all three of them, pitcher, second, and short.
So who's playing in the Pac-12 championship?
Stanford,
Oregon State. Okay.
So that game last night that didn't finish till like 2:30. That was to go to the Pac-12 championship. They play semifinal double elimination, I guess.
Okay. So I think whoever wins the Pac-12 will be the number 2 seed.
Okay.
I think that's how that'll play out.
Be real interesting if it's not Oregon State.
Yep. Some guy's going to be furious.
Oh, he's going to get exactly what he wanted. People tweeting at him or tweeting about him. He's not going to be furious. He's going to be excited.
So Drew Gilbert did get MVP of the tournament. You also had some Tennessee players make the all-tournament team. You had Chase Dolander, Trey Lipscomb, and Drew Gilbert all make it.
How does Cortland Lawson not get on there?
Kentucky had 4 players. Tennessee had 3.
How does Cortland Lawson not get on there?
I don't understand that either. They just did it by shortstop, and they put Ryan Ritter instead of Cortland Lawson. How does Jordan Beck?
I would like to hear that there too. A fair point too. Who was the pitcher? Who got on there?
So it was Chase Dolander and Sean Carney, the Kentucky pitcher.
Oh, they just had 2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair. Oh, whatever.
I mean, they played 6 games. Their stats are going to be good. God.
Guys, they had the. Oh, how dumb. Whatever.
Yeah.
Did Trey
won the whole damn thing. So, what'd you say?
Did Trey Lipscomb make the all-tournament team?
Yeah.
I heard you say it, but I didn't remember it. Okay.
Yeah, Trey, Chase, and Drew.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. You had guys playing in a championship game. Which, again, you're not going to hear me say anything about Kentucky's performance this week. Thought it was phenomenal. But we're talking about the team that won it all, guys.
Where's Sonny and Dylan Cruz is what I want to know.
I'd really like to know where Sonny's at. I guess you can't win that award if you're back in Auburn.
I guess not. Guess not.
Also, can we talk about real quick before we get off here? Trey Morgan, through the top of the second, whining about 2 kind of close calls at first. One, he asked for a review. That in the first slow motion video, we go, oh, he's safe. Yeah. And he's just chirping the ump. So I tweeted, I was like, dude, you're good. You're not unbeatable.
Right.
People can take first on you. It's okay.
And it wasn't even his fault. But yeah, whatever. All right, well, that's all I got.
Fun. It's gonna be fun in a week. Gonna be fun the week after that, and then the week after that. We still got 3.5 weeks of baseball left. We're gonna try to get some good guests for you guys too. Coming up.
Oh, for sure.
We're gonna do it. So
yeah, Tennessee. They're set to be back at 11:45. So if you can make it, I think I'm gonna try to go. I ain't got nothing else.
We need boots on the ground.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to do, so I'm gonna try to go. I would like for somebody to go with me, but I don't know who that would be. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know either.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate y'all. That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.